Okay, so I'm gonna wait a little bit before we get started today. Let's see. We are live. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us here today. I'm so excited to get started. I'm going to wait a little bit until more people start making it in. Okay, we're not going to wait. We're excited. How are you guys doing? Happy Tuesday. It's another day. What's going on? Where are you guys coming from? How did you guys hear about what's happening today? Okay. Welcome. We have a really great live for you today, so I'm super excited to get started. Let's see. Okay. And when you come in, just let us know where you're coming from. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook. Hello. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Alrighty. Let's see. Let me go ahead and let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jalen Rogers, and I am the digital marketing and storytelling intern here with Kinkofa. I've been interning for the summer, and I am super excited to share what we have going on. Without any further ado, I want to go ahead and welcome on Misha and Jordan because we're going to get started. Okay, let's see. Here we go. I'm going to go on and bring on Misha and Jordan to, let's see. Here we go. One second. We're going to bring them in. And they're here. Alrighty. Hello.
Thanks for the
Yes, of course. How are you guys doing?
Good. Glad to be on live. How are you?
That's good. I'm doing good. I'm excited to get this going. What about you, Misha?
I'm pretty good. I'm just making sure we're live everywhere. So I'll be up and down for a minute, but I'm here.
Perfect. Okay, so for everyone joining us, we are super excited to present you guys with a live debut of the Kinkofa app today. But before we get into that, I know I'm super excited to hear about it, but I think it's super important to get to know the why behind the Kinkofa app and how this all came together. So before we go into the demo side of things, we're going to get to know a little bit about the story of the Kinkofa app with Misha and Jordan. So first, I want to ask you guys, when did you realize, well, first let me ask this. Can you give a little bit of an explanation to the audience about the Kinkofa app?
Yeah. So the Kinkofa app is a place where folks can really begin to record and document their story and their memories in the way that they see fit. So we began building this platform in its infancy a few years ago with an app called Rememory, which is meant to record stories, whether it's through video, audio, on your own or with a loved one. And it's meant to be able to capture those stories so that you can look back on them in the future, or share them with future generations. But we didn't intend to stop with Rememory. We wanted to expand and think about the different ways that the memories of Black folks exist and our stories exist, be it through photos or recipes or home videos or the records that we have, whether it's it could be music, it could be funeral programs, it could be newspaper clippings, magazines, all the ways in which our stories are documented and exist, the memories that we know and live and can tell other people, but also should be thinking about recording and preserving. And so the Kinkofa app, as it lives today and is now live, is meant to capture all of those things. It's meant to help you both record and preserve those stories and share them with other people. So it could be a family reunion recap, like the photos and videos from your reunion this year or in previous years. It could be memories from birthday gatherings over the years. It could be old photos, the throwbacks from previous generations. And it's a place and a home for all of those memories to live. And also, and eventually, it will be so much more. You'll be able to create things from those memories. So really excited to share what we've been working hard on with our amazing team, Jalen and her other fellow interns this summer. But we're really excited to share. So that's a bit about what the app is.
I really liked the way that you described Kinkofa as a home. It really just reignites the personal effects of this tool. So I kind of want to get to know a little bit about the personal story behind why you and Misha found this tool, the Kinkofa app that just launched, as necessary.
Yeah, for a number of reasons. Some were more personal and through our own experiences, but also from so many other folks that we've talked to, be it genealogists and memory workers, be it everyday folks, community historians who know the history of the place that they live in, and often are the only keepers of that history. And so we were really inspired by both talking to folks and then knowing our own experience of maybe having some of the family's photos or documenting our family history and wanting to be able to share all of the information, the stories that we're finding with other folks, because often family members will hit us up, like especially around like family reunion time. Misha and I both just planned our own family's reunions, and cousins will hit us up and ask for who is so and so in this picture, or do you know who so and so's like great great grandmother is? And so, as a way to not just be that single source of information, but to spread the wealth of our history, whether it's in your photos and videos or your family tree. We want to be able to give space for those memories to live. And so using the word home is just thinking about, the physical things that we often have that live in our homes. Well, this is a digital place for those physical items to also exist and to be much more shareable. We've also seen and heard from so many folks who may have had an archive of materials, photos, and stories, and sometimes those things get lost. Like sometimes we can't find them, sometimes they're vulnerable to floods and fire and all sorts of things. And so it's also really important that we take the action of preserving these memories so that in the event that something does happen, we still can hold true to the history that has brought us here. And so those are reasons. We also have been able to do some work in documenting communities and have found it really important to be able to share the research that we do, that we know other researchers do, whether they're independent genealogists or academics, or even just the everyday folk who might care about their community and want to share an archive about the place that they're from, their family, their org that they're a part of. And so kinkofa is also meant to be able to bring those stories to life. Maybe it's a story about your fraternity or sorority and its history. Maybe it's about your church. Like, we've talked to so many folks who really cherish these communities that they're part of and know the story or want to know it and want to be able to share it. And so kinkofa is also meant to document those things.
Something that for the audience, what we've been working on, something that's been prioritized is really listening to who we're speaking to, seeing the problems that they deal with and the ways that kinkofa can be positioned as a tool that can bring ease. Can you share a little bit about how kinkofa brings ease to these folks who need this tool for organization and for the continuation of memory work that they're doing?
Yeah. I can personally speak to the benefit of what the platform does. And so a few years ago, I took on the job of digitizing a lot of my maternal family's photos, a collection of a few hundred photos. And I was like, okay, maybe this will be my project for this time that we're isolated on lockdown. So this was a few years ago. And I wanted to be able to scan and share the photos that I had, and couldn't find an organizational method to scan the photos and keep some of them in the order that they were in. So some were like in those little jackets that photos come in when you get developed, and kind of tell a story because they were maybe someone's trip abroad or maybe photos from a birthday party. And so I felt it really important to be able to keep those physical items in the same order when I shared them digitally. So that scanning part of the process requires some organization, but I also thought about where they'll eventually live once they're scanned. And so I thought about Google Drive and Google Photos, and realized that those tools weren't really effective at capturing the story behind some of the photos, where there might be a memory that I get from an aunt that I'm talking to, or even by looking at the photos, you can tell that there's more there. There were also people to identify and the relationships between them. So a lot of the tools that I was coming across, where they might be meant to allow you to upload a photo or a video, don't really allow you to tell the full story and the connections between the folks in the photo or video. And so there was kind of this community or family history need, as well as being able to have a digital item, a photo, a video, a recording, a document, and be able to stitch those things together to tell a story as well. And so I mentioned earlier that we had created a tool called Rememory, which allows you to record stories, and thinking about, again, the different ways that our stories exist and the ways that we tell stories. We want to be sure that kinkofa is a place where, no matter the format or how you want to tell the story or connect the things, that there's a way to do that on the platform. And so thinking about some of our personal experiences and this desire to be able to allow Black folks and families, communities, to fully connect our stories to the things that we have, we knew that this platform needed to be able to not only preserve the story, but connect things like maybe you have a family tree on another platform. That family tree and the people that are in it might have videos, photos, artifacts, and other things that talk about each person in that tree. And kinkofa is a place where you can have this digital archive of those things, but also connect the people and the places that are featured in each photo, each video, in things like a family tree, or like a photo album that you decide to print. So really, this platform is born out of this desire for us to be able to tell, again, the stories in the way that we want to, and not be limited by the tools that we're using, or having to use 10 different tools to accomplish the thing. Because imagine like trying to use Google Photos and Ancestry and something else. to accomplish all of these things. And so kinkofa is again kind of meant to just beautifully reflect the ways in which we think about our memories.
I like that. I like that. And something else I want to touch on is the Kinkofa app is meant for those who archive professionally and for also people who do it on different ranges, starting out or already doing it with their own family memories. So, how do you what tactics did you make sure to include to where this tool is touching the whole wide range of memory keepers and memory workers?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we were able to talk to a number of folks who work professionally as archivists, as researchers, and in other capacities where they, on a daily basis, deal with important physical materials and help make sense of them, whether it's archiving collections of old photographs, videos, and helping to stitch together the story by collecting, it's called metadata. So basically the information about an object or an artifact that helps tell the story, naming it, identifying who's in it, when it was, just the way in which we describe these things. And as we were thinking about the platform and how we can make it easy for, again, people to organize their materials, to search for and find them. So earlier I talked about how family members might hit you up and say, hey, do you have a photo of so-and-so? Making sure that that metadata is easy to include or easy to add to a photo or video or other item, and then also easy to search or make those things discoverable.
What is metadata?
It's the things that describe
So like the story?
upload. Yeah.
Like the T?
Yeah, sure.
The tea.
The deets.
But make it also easy to find and organize.
And so when you say find, you're referring to?
If you have a collection of things and if they don't have metadata, you're probably swiping through or browsing through all of the things that you have until you find it, as opposed to something that has metadata, which might allow you to type a name or a place or a date or some other information to make it easy to find that information.
When you search, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked to a number of professional archivists on best practice for how they record metadata and how they organize the different materials that they may work with, but also talk to folks who might just have a lot of things or might just have some things and wanted to understand what their goals were and how we can better create a solution that helps organize those physical archives that we have, but also create a digital version that makes it easy to find the things that we care so much about and easy to share them as well. It's, again, going back to metadata, if an item doesn't have that description, a name, or any information about it, it becomes hard to also share that story or memory as well.
Yeah. Something I was speaking with Jordan about was his own personal realization of the need for the Kinkofa app and the things that this tool brings. So I kind of want to position that same question to you, Misha. What was your personal realization of how necessary the Kinkofa app is?
I'm going to go further back to even just starting Kinkofa, because the idea for the app has always been a thing. I think we've just had different variations of what that might look like. And so our goal has always been to lower the amount of work and activation energy and things that are required for people to get started with genealogy and family history research. And so for me, the beginning of it was just not liking the user experience on other apps. And from there, that being one thing, because I have a background in tech, and I am pretty design minded, got pretty frustrated by those tools and how I felt they were keeping me from finding things in my family history or the way that they choose to present data that they do have. And so I think it goes back to the very idea of kinkofa. I think for the digital archive tool, just thinking about what is on the market and something that like everybody can participate in, and things that would help with the things we already have. And so I was thinking about how many things that Black folks have laying around our house that, you know, we might be struggling to preserve, or you might have aunts like mine who don't let you take things that they have. Or things that are like really fragile, right, that people are taking care of. So for me, it was really partially how can we get younger folks excited? How can we give a better experience when people use the app? How can I make it something that is intergenerational? And then how can we do something that is Black and like centers us versus other folks in the way they might preserve history?
Something I'm curious to touch on is y'all's actual, like, the way that you guys formed Kinkofa together. I'm really interested in touching on that a little bit because it does involve the same work that this tool is meant for, in a sense. So, can you tell us the story of Misha and Jordan coming together, creating Rememory, and then eventually Kinkofa, the Kinkofa app, all of those things?
Yes, so that's a pretty long journey. So December 2020, Jordan and I started to cross paths online. I think by January, we figured out each other exists for real and maybe had a first conversation with each other. In January 2021 on an app called Clubhouse. There we were building a community with and for Black genealogists, and realized that like, hey, this might be like pandemic buzz and everybody is on here. It was audio only, so you couldn't share in our research. And pretty quickly, a lot of the people in our group started to get curious about if we were related or not, just because people were researching some of the same areas, the same surnames, and just certain things about people. And so everybody became curious, and a lot of us had already DNA tested. So we piloted in February 2021, we piloted a relative matching tool. And through that, we were able to eventually unlock 35,000 connections for our group members and people who were part of this project. And through that, Jordan and I learned that we are long lost cousins, as well as many other people in the group. And from there, it became a curious journey of trying to figure out which ancestors we share so that we can figure out exactly how we're related, not just in DNA, but also in family history. Jordan and I do have shared roots. He will say in the Arklets hex, or maybe he won't claim Texas at all, but at least Arkansas and Southwest Arkansas and the communities there. And I think now we have at least 4 or 5 lines of shared cousins. And so he has cousins that, you know, his parents might have grown up with, or he's known his life that throughout his life that have the same surnames as the families that I'm researching. And we've been able to pinpoint like, okay, this person, like one of your cousins married my cousin in this year. And so our cousins are cousins. And then there's layers to that. And I think now, I'm like, I don't know what else. Do you want to add anything else? But yeah, so that's kind of the beginning journey. That was 2021. 2022, we launched Rememory kind of for the same reason that I said about wanting to add something different to the market that would allow lots of people to participate and not just people who wanted to be researchers necessarily and who might not be intimidated by the almost sometimes academic work you have to do to like really figure out your family history. So we wanted an easier entry point, and a lot of Black folks pass on oral history, pass on our history via storytelling. So it was a natural first thing. It was in partnership with Participant Media and Higher Ground, and it was for the film Descendant. And so we were working on the social impact campaign for that. And the folks of Africatown have passed on, held on to a story that Zora Neale Hurston helped record. And so she was a big inspiration to us in how we thought about it and thinking about a story she recorded 100 plus years ago being published, you know, decades later. and now having a film, and we can know the present day descendants. So that was pretty fascinating, and that's how we got to that. And then I don't know if there's anything else you want to add.
Yeah, from there, well, I guess to back up a bit, like Misha said, we've always known that it wouldn't be just the singular app that allows you to record stories. Not that that's unimportant. We just see that kind of as the first step. Again, Black folks keep our stories and tell our stories through oral tradition. And we wanted to be able to meet the families and communities that have that practice where they are, be able to record your story that you know or your own lived experience through memory, but then be able to do more with it. And so our intention from the beginning is to build a platform that supports families in being able to document our experience and celebrate it, and recording those stories was just kind of like the first step. So with our newly launched platform, we're taking the next step in allowing families and folks to upload and contribute more of the things that they have.
Yeah. Before we get into our live demo, which I'm excited to showcase that, can you guys share a little bit about what you're hoping families and the people who use the Kinkofa app feel gain from this tool?
Yeah, for me, I hope folks are able to, one, see themselves and some of their tradition, their culture, just reflected through the platform and through Kinkofa, that we're welcoming them in as family, as kinfolks, and that they see, again, a home for some of those stories and memories that they have, and a trust that will be able to help them share and celebrate those stories. So I think first and foremost, just knowing, and that's one of the reasons that we want to be present and show you the platform ourselves, that it's something that's for us to be able to celebrate and be proud of, be able to share those stories.
I would say I have a lot of things that I hope for, but one of them would be joy. And so I think Jordan said at the beginning that one of our goals has always been to make the family history journey more joyful. We know there's lots of things in our history that are not the best stories, but I think the story of overcoming, still being here, is a story of joy and triumph. And so I hope in people being able to preserve things beyond just like what records can show, brings us joy and helps us realize like how much wealth we really have to be able to share these stories and to have these things to pass on to future generations, and for us to realize that museums aren't the only place that can hold our history. And you don't have to be like extraordinarily Black to be important. Not that like people who have these really fascinating achievements, like basically all the stories matter is what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter if like you think your everyday is not as important, but I think the things that maybe eat every week, that's something like maybe how your family preserves fish and spaghetti. Like I didn't know fish and spaghetti was a thing. Like that's not something we normally eat in Texas.
Yeah, we don't. I was like, I don't need that.
Yeah, that's not something I eat. But I've had the joy of knowing people from the Midwest, and even Memphis. Memphis also eats fish and spaghetti. I've been able to try it, and I was like, okay, this is a unique food way that we have that's particularly African American. And something I realized about that was, I was like, oh, do other cultures of Black people do this? And I thought about it, and I have a friend who's from Chicago that lived with me when I lived in Ghana, and I thought about how her favorite dish there was pretty much fish and spaghetti with the egg and some other like rice and stuff that goes with it. It's like more loaded than fish and spaghetti, but it's called wache. But just thinking about those kind of connections, I want people to be able to see it. I want people to be able to map their memories. And even just documenting themselves, right? So we know how hard it is to like look back, but we do have an opportunity to like document ourselves right now, so that we, like people in the future who might be trying to figure out what we were doing during these times, will have it easier because we've left a story and we intentionally did it.
Wow. Yes. And it's like I already know this story, but I really enjoy hearing about really what brought you guys to this point of this platform, because this is the first, I mean, I would consider myself to be new into this, and this is something I'm really excited about sharing. And that brings us to the next part, where we get to have the opportunity. Misha and Jordan will all be walking through the Kinkofa app, uploading a memory, and showing you guys the ease that we were just talking about. And we're going to go ahead and get into that. Let's see. I'm going to go right here. There we go. Oh, go back. There we go. Okay, we're here.
All right. So, Jalen, for a minute, we're going to put you backstage, but you're still here
Okay.
with us. All right.
All right, so we're gonna take a look at the kinkofa platform. So we're logged in as me, sort of. And once you've created your account, after you create your account, you'll answer a few quick questions, set your username, and then you'll end up on your homepage in the app, where you can start by uploading and dropping your first memory. And memories on the kinkofa platform are things like photos that might be on your phone or your computer, videos. They could be home videos that you digitized or videos that you've recorded over time. They could be documents, things like they could be PDFs or doc in terms of the file type, but they could tell stories in a number of ways. They could be audio recordings or videos as well.
All right.
So we're going to take a look at we're going to take a look at the platform. Okay. All right, so we're going to go back to the platform. 1 second. Where we'll get started by uploading our first memory. So here we'll be able to upload the files that I just mentioned. We accept an array of different types of files. So again, photos, videos, recordings, documents. And what we'll do now is upload a video and a few other things for you to see. So we're actually uploading some of our kinkofa memories, a video of us. And right now, what's happening is those videos are going to our secure storage and also being converted into a format that is a little easier and quicker for playback.
What kind of things can you upload?
So if you scroll down just a little bit, we were just saying that things like JPEGs and TIFFs, GIFs, MP4s, videos, recordings, documents, images can all be uploaded to the platform. Yep. So what's happening is, again, those files are being uploaded, and as a next step, we'll be able to add the metadata, or really the story behind each of those things, whether it's naming it, telling more of a description of the thing, who's in it, when it happened, where it happened, and not in just a geolocation or like a address, but also maybe it's a memory that happened at somebody's house, and that's what you know the place as. You can name those locations on the platform. So here we can start the tagging process while things are still uploading. So we uploaded our old logo, some photos of us, which we'll talk a little bit about there. So what happens if we click on one of them, we can add that tag information. So this is our old logo that we created in 2021. And this used to be on our website, on our social. So if you've been following us for a while, you've probably seen that before. And So there you can tell, what the story is behind the memory that you're uploading. And then next you can add some themes. So these could be basically categories or topics that you tag to each memory and make it easy for you to filter or organize things by those topics. You can then tag who's in the memory by adding people, and those people profiles we'll look at in a little bit. You can add a date or when the memory happened, or if you don't know exactly when, you can add like the year, the decade, or just that you're not sure. And then next you can add where the memory took place. So it could be things like on the South Side, it could be at someone's house, it could be at a publicly known place. And then from there, you can also add an address that you associate with it if the memory has a place and a location. So you can see that this happened on Beyonce's internet, which happens to be in New Orleans. And then this next step is to select a space, which is kind of like the home that memory lives in on the platform. It's a place where others can view it, and you can essentially tell a fuller story. And we'll look at that a bit more. So we just tagged one, but you can do that for all of the memories that you decide to upload. So let's look at one of the memories that we uploaded. If you can just click on one. So this is an image of us, a photo of us in Dallas in a community called 10th Street, which is one of the last remaining and most intact freedmen's towns in Texas. And there we've been doing some research and collecting stories, documenting stories of families who either live in or are from this community. And here we are with one of our fellow researchers, Dr. Katie Cross, in front of one of the businesses there. And so if we go back to that memory really quick, and then if we expand on the right, we can see some of the information that you would add. And one of the things that I wanted to point out here is that it's not just writing out the stories on the kinkofa platform. You can also record stories about the image, the video, the document, whatever the thing is that you've uploaded, can also have another story that you record about it. So this is the logo that was uploaded, and you can do things like edit, share, delete, and also tag what is in each memory. All right, we'll just save that. And I think
Do you want to share comments?
Yeah, let's take a look at that. So in addition to creating and telling more of the story, you can also share with other folks, invite them to your space or to view your memory, where they can comment and respond to. Maybe they have a piece of the story that you didn't know, or maybe they know somebody in the memory that you've uploaded and can comment, so that you have a little bit of discussion documented about the things that you care about and share with others. I think Nisha was going to show us spaces next, where there's a kinkofa archive. So spaces, again, are like collaborative areas on the platform, if you choose for them to be. If you choose to invite and share with other folks to be able to view or upload more of their memories to your space, but it can also be a area where you work and preserve the memories that you want to keep. Within spaces, there's a feature called collections, which are kind of like albums. So say, for example, I made a space for the Brunson family, and in that Brunson family space, we can see, I'll actually show it. We're going to get an infinity screen in just a second. Or maybe we won't. So this is a space on the platform where some photos have been uploaded, different memories, and there's also some collections, which again are kind of like albums that you can curate. So if I have the Brunson family space, I can have family reunion collections, I can have birthday collections, or maybe a certain branches or about certain people, anything that you choose for that collection to be about. And then you can also choose who has access to each thing. So you can invite others to the space where, this is a collection, 1 second. You can invite others to the space there by adding their email or phone and then selecting what you want them to be able to do. Or you can choose to make a link that you can share with others to do that as well. And if you invite someone to a space, they can then collaborate on anything that's in it. So the collections or the memories, or you can choose to invite someone to a single collection on the platform.
And there's a few other places where you can add someone. So if you wanted someone to participate in your whole back in the day space that's over here, you can do that on the go to view all spaces and then invite people. And then you can do the message and link like Jordan said, and then decide if you only want to share specific things with them. So back in the day here, family reunion, and then what their role will be. And over here on the right, you'll see what you selected, and that way you can confirm it before you send the invite.
All right. So 2 ways to do that. So those are spaces and collections. There's different ways to view what's in a space, whether it's a list or a gallery. There's filters. So if you want to search by the title or description or other information that you've added, or maybe the tags that you've added to folks who are in the memory or the memories themselves. If you've added people, you can filter by who's in them, or even the type of thing that you've uploaded. This space just has photos in it, but if you had audio and video, you can easily filter to that. The other thing that we showed during the tagging process.
You can also upload memories here too. So not only can you create a collection, so you don't have to go all the way up to the upload button. It will take you to the same screen as this button up here.
All right. And then so after we uploaded and we added information to a memory by tagging it, one of the things we added was people, which lives here in the My Folks section. So any person that you add to a memory can then be seen here. And if you want to add more people to your folks, you can click that button where you add their name, things like nicknames. So what do we really call that person? When were they born? And also if they're still with us, and more about them. Eventually we'll likely add more, and we'll also be able to identify the connections or relationships between the folks that you've added. But this is a easy way for you to see again and sort by some of the things that you're adding to your memories. One thing that you might see on the left is something called Apps and Discover Collection. You want to share more about what to expect?
Mm-hmm. So Jordan was just sharing about one of the apps that will be there. So inside of the Kinkofa app, there are apps. So there's apps inside of the app. To make that simple to say, that will be things like our oral history recording tool, Rememory. It's been moved inside the app. We have a family tree builder, a family reunion planner coming, some other things like making photo books, and just things that we heard from different early users and testers about things they might want. And so 2 of the top running things right now, besides being able to organize images and record stories, are planning family reunions and family tree builder. So those are our next 2 apps inside of the app. You'll definitely want to make sure you are on our mailing list or wherever we post so that you can get notification of that. If you are interested in those two things, they'll be there. And then on this side over here, under apps, we have Discover Collections, and that's where public archival collections about Black history will be there. So that might be about HBCUs, church history, city history, Black business history, lots of different things. But those will be things that, let's say your family's in there, your family lived in that community, you might, or you live in that community now, you might want to save to your family tree. And when I say family tree, I want to make sure we're letting everybody know y'all see it when y'all see it. But one thing that we set out to do is make the traditional family tree more expansive to cater to all the different ways that Black folks make families. Like you'll be able to add your fraternity brothers or line sisters or church family or play cousins, your bike club, your neighbors association, whatever it is, you can work with them here. So it's really about Black families, but also Black communities and Black history at large and what we're doing to preserve that.
So definitely more exciting things coming once you're on the platform. If you're not sure where to get started, there's some videos here under Need Help for you to check out. And there's also some walkthroughs. We skipped them in this go round, but once you join, there'll be some walkthroughs to introduce you to the different parts of the platform. And
this is your home dashboard. So when you log in, your first login, you'll have a bit of a GIF for you there to help you around the platform and learn it on your own in case you're not watching this video back. But here you'll have a set of what we call quick actions. And so a lot of the things we were showing you, you can actually do here. You can also easily access your spaces. And then as you add more memories, they'll show up down here as recently added. And something we left out was, I think you saw us upload quite a few photos at first, but maybe you don't have time. Maybe you want to dump them and come back and get the stories, or maybe you need to go get more information about the story from a family member. You can come back. And so right now you see on Sarah's account, she's tagged some photos already, but she has one that says needs tag. So she can go in here and edit and add to the story about it. And you can keep track of what needs tags by, this is our going into my memories. And so over here in the status, you can click on needs tags, and then you'll be able to see things that need a tag. And here also you have the option to look at it this way if that's easier for you. And if you click this name, there's some bulk editing options that will be here. So this will make it easier to apply certain themes and names. If you had like Christmas 2022 Savannah, and you wanted to put more information there, but all the pictures are there, and you wanted to just put like, I don't know, all the pictures are from the same thing, and you can name things however you want to. You can do that here. You can also star and share and just keep track of those.
And so you might be wondering how you get to the Kinkofa app, which if you go to kinkofa.com, if you go to kinkofa.com, you can, one second, let me reshare that. But if you go to kinkofa.com, you'll be able to easily sign up. One second. We'll just show. Once you go here, kinkofa.com, you can click Get Started, sign up, and easily be able to create your account on the platform. All right, so that's our.
So we wanted to bring Jalen back to the stage, and Jalen has an opportunity for us to share our memories.
Yes. Okay. So that was an amazing walkthrough of the Kinkofa app. And if you guys are here watching us, we actually have a QR code right here. You can scan the QR code to drop in a memory about food, music, or hair if you'd like. So we're going to keep it up on the screen for you for a little bit longer. But before we go, Misha and Jordan, do you have anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
I think there were some questions that we've gotten that we should probably answer live while we're here.
That is a good idea.
So, what are some of the questions you've seen on social media that people have asked?
Let me pull up my trusty receipts. Give me 1 second because since we have been sharing actively on our socials, as Misha and Jordan have been talking about, you guys have been really interested in some things. So I'm going to go ahead and share some. Let's see.
I'll start with the first one. I know one question we've gotten while you're looking for your seeds is that can people, like, what do we do with AI, or like, how do we feel about AI? And are we doing anything with AI to people's photos, and should they be weary of that?
So that's a great question, and definitely something to be wary of or to question. So our thoughts on AI are, one, like, AI should be making our lives useful. I think in this age that we live in, AI is surrounding us, whether we like it or not, or whether we personally use it or not, is showing up in a lot of different ways. But when it comes to things like our family memories, our family history, our history, it's completely reasonable to be concerned about something like AI or information being trained on those precious memories and information that we have. And so one thing that we want to first be clear about is that the memories that you upload to the kinkofa platform are in no way trained or training an AI model. One, as of today, as of right now, there is no AI that is a part of the kinkofa platform. But the way that we see AI being supportive of things like our family memories, or of keeping the stories that we care about, would be helping us to organize them, or maybe helping us to find and do a thing. So maybe I want to learn how to find more history about a place that my ancestor is in a photo, or like in a record I learn about, or history I learned about a juke joint that was in the community that my family lived in. And we definitely think that being able to find that information, find more of the story, is a goal that many of our community members have, it's goals that we have in wanting to learn more about our story. So AI on the kinkofa platform would do things like that. It would be able to help make it easier to find more of the story that you're looking for.
And the data from that doesn't just come from anywhere. It comes from our research and researchers of other Black historians. So it's not just any old random AI that we're putting into the platform. It's AI that we've basically trained to have the right answers for Black history. And so that's not a right now, today thing. It's something that we're thinking about and things that people are interested in. And like Jordan said, it would mostly be to organize and not manipulate photos.
Another question we've been getting a lot is regarding privacy, especially because people will be sharing their memories. So the question is, are there any privacy cybersecurity protocols in place to ensure my family's data isn't A, stolen, B, mismanaged, or sold on the back end without my permission?
Of course. So one, as someone who cares deeply about how my personal stories and history and photos that I have are taken care of, that's at the forefront of like how we've designed the platform and think about keeping information secure. So the first part of that is that you have control over and ownership over the information that you put on the kinkofa platform. So if it's a photo that you've uploaded and you decide you don't want it to be on kinkofa anymore, you can delete it, and it's deleted. We don't retain that information without your permission. So the first part of privacy and the way that we think about it is just being able to ownership and dictate what it is you want to happen. And so beyond that, we have had the collaboration and direct advice from experts in cybersecurity to create and set up cybersecurity and cloud storage through providers that are trusted in the industry, and ensure that not only is your information safe, but it's also accessible, because we would hate to think about being able to digitize these stories that are important, because the physical things are precious, but the digital things are also important. So we want to make sure that those things last as well, and create a cybersecurity process that really protects the digital things that we're uploading as well.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that point, because you answered the next. It wasn't a question, but it was a statement where someone commented and they said, "No, we like physical media." But guys, this isn't an erasure of physical media.
So,
This isn't what it is. Okay, let's see. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead.
Really quickly, let's just answer that like more clearly, because
Okay, yeah.
I'm talking about security. And so, like Jalen said, the question was about, or the statement was about, like, we don't want everything in the cloud. Like maybe this person has like nostalgia core or prefers physical material, but something that we like to think about is digital. There's times where you're not moving around with these very precious photos that you have, and maybe you want to share that with family, right? Or maybe it is too fragile, or maybe like, we have to be real. There's issues like the fires that we saw in LA this year. There's floods in North Carolina. There's a lot of climate challenges that are making it more and more difficult to preserve certain things. And so think of it like a vault in a way. And so what you're doing is really, if you have a physical item, is you're making a digital twin. So if that something did happen, like as a prevention method, you have a backup for it. And so we encourage you to keep multiple backups, have a photo that you just have on your phone or anywhere else. And then also something here on kinkofa. And of course, you keep the physical item. And one thing that I've had a few people ask is if we will be helping people preserve the physical things. And so I think an expansion to our current tagging might be helping people organize it. So maybe label and doing some of the things that a physical archive or library might do to keep track of stuff, of physical items. So that's something we're thinking about. If that's of interest to you too, definitely let us know so we can ask you some questions about what you need. But all of that to say, we just see digitization as part of preservation.
I like the word that you use. You said phygital.
Mm-hmm.
I like that word. I like that word. Another question, just on the tip of being able to upload from a different platform, the platform being Ancestry. Someone was curious, automatically upload from Ancestry, or if that's something you've thought about.
I think the answer to that is layered, because it's family tree data. And there's a standard across the genealogy industry of like what comes with that. So if you download your family tree from Ancestry, it won't be this full animated thing that you might experience now. It would be a file that's pretty stripped down. So we are looking at something that allows you to bring your family tree from any platform. It can be Family Search, it could be Gramps, it could be anything that you want, where you want to share it. And another part of that, if there are things on other platforms that you want to bring over, we do have, I don't know that we went into it in the upload, but we do have the ability to upload and transfer from different platforms. So if it's memories and not just a family tree, we do have Dropbox,
Facebook, Google Photos,
OneDrive,
Google Drive.
Lots of them. And we can quickly show that if people are interested. But yeah, we have thought about all the different things that you can transfer, which is why we have an expansive as expansive as we can be, because we want to be able to share things with people. We want you to be able to share, like, as larger things that are like animated probably won't be a first thing beyond video, but it is something that we're continuing to add. And if there's something that we've said that you don't have, then let us know, and we can see about adding that as one of the transfer options.
Another question that we got is actually from some people who have been on the Kinkofa mailing list, just wondering if they need to create a new login, or is it the same one as they use when the same one we created with Kinkofa? That's what they asked.
So if you've used a Kinkofa product like Rememory, or maybe you bought our Preserve the Culture conversational card game and created a Rememory account through that, Rememory is now part of the Kinkofa app. So your account is still active. It's now accessible through the Kinkofa app, where you'll be able to access your memories if you recorded using Rememory. Those recordings now live in Kinkofa. You'll also get a special invitation walking you through how to get into your new account on Kinkofa as well.
So most of it is done automatically. So there's not much for you to do besides look for that email.
Okay. And then another question was in regard to the payment structure. So someone was wondering if there was a free version, or do you have to choose one of the paid memberships?
Yeah, there's definitely a free version of the Kinkofa app. So if you click Get Started on our website, you'll be able to create your account and begin uploading memories, your spaces that you create. If you would like to expand and collaborate with more folks, maybe you need more storage space, or you have family members that you want to bring on, we have a few different options. So one is we have a premium plan, which is for if you need more space, if you want more collaborators that you want to add access to things like apps on the platform, if you want to be able to import your memories from other places like we were just mentioning, Facebook, Google Drive, Google Photos, and you get up to 20 collaborators with that plan. So there are different options, whether it's monthly or annual. There's a family plan, which allows you to add up to 6 or up to 5 other family members to have access to up to 200 gigabytes of storage space. So plenty of space for the whole family to upload memories, and it's for each individual account to share. You also get access to unlimited collaborators and unlimited spaces, as well as collections. And then we also have a special limited offer for some of our day one folks. And this gives you access to a family plan plus more. So you get more storage space, you get access to exclusive events, our community of supporters, exclusive perks, and then access to apps. And
Can you speak more about what the community what the community means?
Yeah, so that'll be a community of other day one members, Misha and myself, as well as support. So whether you're researching or documenting your family history and want tips and tricks, there'll be resources specific to that community. There'll be memory workers, genealogists, other folks who are part of the community that can share some of their experience. It's a place for you to learn and share, and again, kind of mirror what Kinkofa is all about, which is having kin that you get to know and can learn and build with. So whether you're collaborating, it's a space for our day one members to thrive and be able to succeed on the Kinkofa platform.
Mm-hmm. And have to just really go deeper into family history research, and have each other to support. And so that community is launching in September, after everybody gets their summer holidays and Labor Day out the way, so they don't miss anything. And we'll start having lots of cool events in there. There'll also be some other public events that just are everybody will be invited to, but more so around using the platform. Um, it's live. Anything else y'all want us to talk about? I think we're good.
I think we're good. I think we're good. Thank you guys so much for talking with me, talking with the audience. I hope you guys get a better idea of Misha and Jordan, the idea behind the Kinkofa app, how to use it, and also this stream will be up on our YouTube, and we'll be also sharing clips and things like that on our socials, so that way if you didn't get a chance to catch us live, you'll still be able to get all of the details that you need. And without any further ado, Misha and Jordan, do you have anything else you want
Yes.
to
And so,
say?
again, just as a reminder, because I know we've been talking about a lot of things, you can go to kinkofa.com. So that's KINKOFA.com to get signed up and started. And if there's any questions that you have, you can reach out to us there. There's a contact us portion of our website where you can ask us questions about anything. And if you experience any trouble, if you've been looking for your invites, some email services think our emails are spam right now. And so until you start opening them, um, people will not, your email will probably think it's spam. So make sure you check your spam. Your invite is chilling in there. And if you are not able to sign up via invite, make sure you go to kinkofa.com to get started.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. You already know what to do next. Go ahead and go to kinkofa.com. We are live. Thank you again.